Ponytails. Read by Scribbler.
Hey There, Cheerilee by Comet Burst. Cheerilee sighed heavily at her desk, feeling unusually dejected. All of her students had already left, and she sat all alone inside the schoolhouse, sifting through piles of tests that needed to be graded, a couple of doctor's notes she never looked at, and a mountain of cards. She lazily flicked her green eyes to the cards, and a small, but amused, chuckle escaped her throat. Her students really cared for her to leave such a sizable pile of Hearts and Hooves Day cards. Upon remembering it was indeed Hearts and Hooves Day, though, Cheerilee's amusement quickly evaporated like sugar cubes in a downpour. The magenta mare sighed again and lowered her head onto the desk, clearly upset. She knew why she was, but she chose to ignore it. Deep down, Cheerilee wanted a special sun pony. She had always wanted one, but teaching the young fillies and colts used up almost all of her time. There was always something they needed, whether it be tests, projects, or just some help. Her beloved students ate up any free time she had. Cheerilee had not actively looked for a stallion in years, telling herself they were just distractions. Last year, 3 of her students, Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo, had tried to set her up with Apple Bloom's big brother, Big Macintosh. Cheerilee gave a small snort of amusement as she remembered that day. She was nervous around the tall and handsome stallion, opting to remain just friends instead of saying what she was thinking. Secretly, she had always hoped Big Mac would notice her, whether it was just to say hello or to take her on a date. On that day, she got her wish in the form of 3 young fillies and a love potion. While Cheerilee didn't remember all of it, she could remember staring into Big Mac's eyes, feeling warm and fuzzy as he nuzzled her nose with his, and wanting him above everything else. The magenta schoolmare blushed slightly at the memory. It was nice of her students to do that for her, but the effect of the potion had actually made it more difficult to be around Big Mac, something Cheerilee found disheartening. Pulling her head from the desk, she began the task of opening and reading her cards. Each one was cute in its own way. Scootaloo drew a picture of a magenta mare with a large heart. Berry Pinch left a white daisy in her card, and even Diamond Tiara's bedazzled and over-the-top card made Cheerilee smile. One by one, Cheerilee read each card and felt a warm spot in her chest. Her little fillies and colts were so kind to give her cards, but an odd longing crept up again. These were her students, not a handsome stallion like Sorin or Caramel. Slowly, the pile began to move across the desk as the mare read them, smiling to herself. Eventually, Cheerilee picked up the last card. The scribbling on the front told her it was probably Apple Bloom's, since it had her trademark apple on top of the eyes in Cheerilee's name. The magenta mare gave a soft chuckle again and opened the envelope of the card was in. Cheerilee gave a soft chuckle again and opened the envelope. Inside sat a rather plain-looking card, decorated to the brim with stickers of apples, hearts, and a crayon drawing of Cheerilee teaching the class. She opened the card and read the usual scrawl of Apple Bloom's.
Dear Miss Cheerilee, Happy Hearts and Hooves Day. Apple Bloom. P.S. Sorry about last year.
Cheerilee simply smiled at her student's card. It was cute, but the apology seemed to just sour her mood further. Yes, she knew she was under a spell when she was with Big Macintosh, and yes, whatever they felt was all fake. Still, though, it was actually pretty nice to have a special sun pony, at least while it had lasted. She sighed again and set down the card, her green eyes moving towards the window. She wondered what Big Mac was doing now. He was probably out in the sweet-smelling orchards, working hard for his family. He was probably pulling upwards of 5 overflowing carts of apples without complaining, or watching the sun set on a hill with his special sun pony. Cheerilee's thoughts suddenly broke, and she shook her head. Why was she wondering what he was doing? He probably couldn't even care less what she was up to, so why worry about him? She turned her thoughts back to the cards and went to toss Applebloom's card on top of the pile she'd already read. She was about to throw away the envelope when she felt something odd. It was thicker in one corner, and as it fell, she could hear paper shuffling. Curious, the green eyes of the magenta mare turned to see the envelope sitting on top of the garbage pile, with a faded piece of parchment sticking out of one corner. Cheerilee retrieved the envelope and, out of curiosity, pulled out the extra paper. It was folded in a rush, so the parchment had a bunch of uneven corners, and Cheerilee's face contorted into an unimpressed look. It was probably just another drawing of Applebloom's or something. She unfolded it and noticed it had writing on it. Her green eyes narrowed as she examined the writing. It certainly wasn't Applebloom's normal writing. It was far too messy. Once she unfolded the parchment fully, Cheerilee smoothed it out on her desk over a couple of rather important papers she would have to do later. Once it was flat enough, she began to read.
Hey there, Cheerilee. How was your day? I hope the students didn't give you too much trouble. I'm not the brightest, best, the most good-looking, or most literate pony, but I wanted to write this to tell you something. I honestly hadn't thought about you much until last year's incident, and I have to admit, it was pretty embarrassing for your sake. I also know that it got me to thinking. I've never really thought about having a pony to myself, especially one like you. I always just focused on working and helping other ponies and thought I was happy. The thing is, though, I can't stop thinking about you now. When I'm out working, I think of you and time flies. I've been told I smile a lot more when I work too. I've had a couple of chances to hang out with you in town, which I remember more vividly than anything else right now. The thing is, I think you are a beautiful mare and a sweet and caring pony. Any stallion will be the luckiest pony to have you as a special sun pony. That gets me thinking too. Why does it have to be any other stallion? After I think that though, last Hearts and Hooves Day pops into my head and I feel terrible. Of course you wouldn't be interested in anything romantic after that, but still, it kind of hurts to know you're off limits to me. I so badly want to talk to you about this, but I can't bring myself to start the topic when we chat. So with the small chance you'll actually read this, I'm going to say it here. Cheerilee, would you please grace me with a second chance?
Cheerilee's eyes widened at that line. She almost didn't think it was possible, but could this be Big Mac's writing?
There, I said it. I know things went bad last year because of my little sister and her friends, but this time, I want to try again, and without their help. I know you're probably busy today or have another date, but I just wanted to ask you before I never get the chance again. So now I've said what I needed to say. Thank you for reading this, Cheerilee. Big Macintosh.
Cheerilee reread the letter several times before her mind finally started working. Big Mac had written a letter to her, hidden it inside Applebloom's card so it would be delivered on Hearts and Hooves Day, and in it confessed he wanted to try once more to go out with her. No romance novel in all of Golden Oak's library could dream up such a scenario, and pretty soon Cheerilee was smiling from ear to ear. She glanced out the window and saw the sky was a beautiful shade of gold with a slight tinge of red. She gasped. She bolted out of the door of the schoolhouse and tore off as fast as she could to Sweet Apple Acres. Cheerilee always believed every pony deserved a second chance. That was Hey There, Cheerilee. It was written by Comet Burst and read by Scribbler, with special guest voice actor Slightly Serious as the voice of Big Macintosh. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I haven't anything of any real value about my own projects to add today, but I would like to update people who do tune in or have listened to my readings before. A couple of videos ago on the fanfic Coffee, I said that there was a fan who had contacted me who was undergoing cancer treatment, and people have since asked me how he's doing. He's given me permission to call him Aaron because his name was his screen name was far too difficult for me to pronounce. And I've been getting updates from him, been talking to him, and he said that his cancer is at stage 4, and in his own words, it is a hard thing to fight. And he's not feeling so great right now, but he is undergoing treatment. So if anybody would just like to send him a message saying, keep your chin up. I am aware that there are millions of people in the world undergoing cancer treatment at the moment, and it seems almost spurious to focus on one person when there are others out there. But yeah, because Aaron has contacted me, it was brought to my attention, and the plain fact of the matter is you do feel more when you know the people involved, even if only very briefly, such as my connection with him. But I would hope that people would, like I said, just send him a note. And yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to that. Be lovely to each other, and good night, everybody.